we've made it to our new temporary build-out location. If you saw last week's vlog, you saw that we did not make it here easily. An 8-hour trip quickly turned into a 48-hour trip with engine issues and breakdowns and sliding into snow and getting stuck. But eventually we did make it to outside of Boise, Idaho. The van still has some kinks to work out. Lance just actually took out all of the coolant. I don't know exactly what he's doing. He just went to go help his mom because their tire's flat. And if you see here to the side, it's kind of green now because Lance wanted to rust prevent all the raw metal on the side.
You can see how like the blotchiness everywhere, that I could cover the parts where there was no more paint left. It was just raw metal. And then I was just like, I'm gonna just do some stripes. And I couldn't, it was at nighttime too, so that didn't really help.
As soon as we get south, I promise you guys, we are fully painting this van. I was just gonna have him tell you guys what he was doing, and he rudely walked away.
Tightening stuff.
Well, oh, your fuel
loosening
stuff?
and retightening. We have a fuel leak, and it's a pretty good leak, and I mean, despite not being good for the environment, it's not good for our pockets either.
Woohoo! Back in Lance's old truck.
It's my old work truck. My mom's boyfriend bought for me, and now I get to use it. How the world goes round. All right, see that honky tonk of junk right there? You barely can see because it kind of just looks like grass now.
Yeah, it's true camo.
Yeah, pretty gnar. We've got a transmission in the bed of the truck, the one that came with the van that's not working. We found a guy about 35 minutes away that is willing to pull it all apart and look at it and tell us what's wrong with it for 180 bucks. Then we can assess from there. So if he pulls it apart and says like, oh, it's gonna need $3,000 worth of stuff, 280 or 180 bucks, whatever, we just won't do it. Or he might pull apart and say, oh, it needs a $200 part, and then plus his just labor rates. And in that case, which I'm really hoping is the case, we're gonna just get this transmission rebuilt because this one has upgraded internals. We'll get this guy rebuilt, and then I'll just swap the transmissions, and we'll have a spare transmission sitting in my mommy's garage.
Lance also did some diagnosing to the van today.
So, I found out that we are down 2 cylinders. So we've been having some starting issues in the cold. It didn't run great. It felt like it was really down on power. So I did some diagnosing and found that cylinder 1 and 3 are not firing, which coincidentally is the exact cylinders that I had to replace the wiring to. So my thinking is the wiring is still not correct, and so it's not firing off those 2 injectors.
I'm tired of looking for answers.
Crash cam loading device.
It's been 9 months since a good old Chick-fil-A session.
There it is, unjacked. If it's out of fluid, then we should be able to...
There might be traces left in it,
but we should be able to... Cool.
These things easy. It looked good when it wasn't melted though.
I think it's kind of cute.
Looks kind of good now too.
Yeah.
Except it comes off very easy. You're gonna have one of these little probules. I'm gonna get you this light situated. So try not to touch any of the walls of the van.
Because I'll get shocked.
No, it's fiberglass. This here is what we're gonna be doing. So, for instance, there's a wire here down in this base. Can you see that?
Uh-huh.
See how it's like pink with a yellow, yellow, brown? Mm-hmm. Okay, you want to start with that yellow wire, or that pink with the yellow trace? Getting a reading. I don't think I should be. We've been having some running issues, and it kind of just not running great. I took this heat gun here and went to the manifolds from underneath while it was running, and so I went to the actual cylinder exhaust manifold. I was able to scan it, and I found that front one was like at 80 degrees while everything else was at 180 degrees. So cylinder 2 up here, and so I've been trying to diagnose what the issue is, and I'm pretty certain it's the injector now. So I replaced the wiring harness on it because the other one was like melted. Well, I didn't replace it, I replaced the pigtail. Can you zoom in there? So I replaced that, and then Allie helped me today by running an ohm test on that one up through the entire harness, and it all checked out. It's got to be 2.8 to 3.6 ohms. I tested that, and then I pulled the valve cover off again, and I did an injector buzz test with my little computer here. And so what that does is it makes all the injectors physically buzz, and then it does cylinder 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that way you can see which one's not getting an electrical signal. And it happens to be the cylinder 2, which we're not getting the correct temperatures off of. So everything's lining up that it's possibly this injector's bad. Oil fills up throughout this entire thing, and there's little valleys that run to these injectors. And it uses that oil as like hydraulic fluid to fire off these injectors. So my theory is if this injector is not firing and not using that oil properly, it might be affecting the way this one functions.
It's very windy.
It is windy today.
Method.
If you do pull out these injectors, what happens is that oil that I was telling you about falls down into the cylinder. So I actually might need to drain the oil. So you can see that's wiggling and cracked. And then I took a little like wire and hooked it up to here and hooked it to 12 volt. And it's like an electromagnet, and it pulls stuff up to let fuel shoot out. And you should hear like a tick from the electromagnet pull, and it wasn't making any noise.
They really crammed these motors in here, that's for sure.
We got the new injector yesterday, and then we took a little wine hopping break. Your sassiness.
Excuse me?
Got the injector in. I busted the valve cover harness when I was taking it off yesterday, so I got a new one of those. And then today I put the new injector in, and of course it's cylinder 2, which is the very far one up there, so I'm having to reach all the way down and in to do any work on it. So that's a pain in the butt. But I started up. It's above freezing because it's raining. It's probably like 34 out, 36, something like that. Can crank it over without it being plugged in, and it starts, which it had to be like 60 degrees out. Before I even started, I put the injector in and did an injector buzz test. So what that does is it just buzzes all the injectors, and so you can see if one's not working, and all of them are working now. Previously they weren't. And then I started it up, and I took my little this is just like a digital temperature thingy.
Show them on your head.
Let's see, how hot am I? 84. I'm a chilly boy. Oh, it's right in your eye. Sorry. 90. She got a hot forehead. I did this on the exhaust manifolds, and now all of the exhaust manifolds are the same temperature, where before cylinder 2 and cylinder 4 were different temperatures.
Another issue is how freaking muddy it is outside. Ugh.
This floor, the ground outside, it just straight like
slap.
3 inches of mud.
Yeah. You can't feel the temperature through the camera, but the wind is very cold today, so we're trying to make a wind blockade. We were gonna just push the van with the truck, but our bumper goes out, so we can't put a hitch or like a tire between the wheels. So we're gonna change our plan.
Before we can start anything, this table saw plug looks like this. So we're adding a plug that also got melted at one point, but it's not quite as melted. Once we repair this little bit of electrical, we'll be back to making stuff. Start to making stuff. And this is like our last sunny day for a week, so we're trying to get in as much as possible. Putting drawer slides on our funky drawer. That'll go down here. and it looks cool. Because that's the most important thing. Doesn't matter if it's actually functional. Getting ready to put these drawers in now. We got this bottom one in. Slides out, you have a tiny portion of storage.
And then below there's some bigger one.
And then it slides back in.
That's so sexy, babe. Look at that angle.
Yeah, and these two, you'll have to see. They're gonna be pretty cool. They're both in here, both on separate slides. But the bottom one will be on the front, like the front facing, and then the top one will just sit in there.
So only the bottom one will pull out and then you grab that second one.
Right. Why I did it that way is because if I were to do two facings, I think it would just, or like drawer fronts, it would make this whole front off. So I wanted it where all of this is the same size, and then there's actually a splitter here, so this is the same size as that. So it's very uniform.
And I am working on making tiny little slats to tie up our corrugated look going up. And that little project is something that I can do mainly outside the van, and then I can be on the bed and out of Lance's way. We've really already had a good amount of practice of living in here because I feel like working full time in here is an even harder project than...
Holes everywhere.
Yeah, it's hard. And I actually don't think we've explained this to you yet. The reason we're finishing up the cabinets, the doors, and a lot of the van build still up north rather than finishing up down south is because we need to store this camper here. But that means we need to actually move into the van. So we're trying to get everything done on the inside that needs done for us to move in, store everything. That way we can leave this and take the boat with us down south. When we put these side windows up, we actually never seal them. I don't know why. I think we were... Oh, because we were planning on painting the van, so we were going to take the windows out. But that's not happening anymore. As of now, not yet. But I got the wall ready that goes in front of the window, and then we won't be able to access the screws that screws it in. So we're going to take it out, seal it up. That way we don't have to worry about it in the future. That's ugly.
Yes, that's more than enough.
So
you can
like,
go much less
that?
than that. That's gonna just spat out everywhere.
I didn't know if there'd be like a little gap or anything. Okay, I know a lot of you don't follow us on Instagram, but I would like to read something to you. We had one of our favorite followers comment, "So Zach does everything and she tells him what to do and makes the videos." I replied, "Yes, Zach does everything." He said, "We know." I replied with, "Yes, Zach is just the best." We love Zach. Also, this is the cutest picture ever.
Go like this. Slam!
I didn't slam. You fixed it!
I just fixed the camera lens.
Yeah! Look at that wide view. You can all see our
You can see our junk.
Yeah. Babe, it's working!
Wow, that's crazy. This is the lens we've been using.
For the last month.
And that's why everything is so darn close up.
Yeah, but now look at this, guys. Hell yeah, babe! We have a few things that we're planning on putting actually underneath the van where the spare tire used to go, but Lance is not going to be building that cage or anything like that up here. So temporarily, and maybe we'll just keep this on the van, I don't know, but he is going to add a hitch to the front of the van.
It's going to go somewhere like here.
What?
Just kidding.
And it's gonna have a rack to store those things that we need to figure out how to attach them to the van at some point, but that hasn't happened yet. Where's that rack at, babe?
In the bed. Look at my light. You know what's cool about it?
Oh, nice.
And then you can just and swivel it around. So it folds up too, which is neat. It doesn't come with a generator, unfortunately. Oh well, we'll make it work. So this one claims to hold 750 pounds, which I don't ever plan on doing. The main reason I got it is because it folds up. So the hope is we can just leave it on the front. Like, there's two halves of this, but stick out like that, and then we should be able to fold it up like that.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows when we have 10 cases of beer and we need to carry it out for the boys.
Stack 'em up, man.
We gotta put them somewhere.
Yeah, the back we thought we were gonna have more storage, but the cool thing is this can always go on the back hitch. And I'm curious, maybe since the hitch sits low enough, it could probably just sit like that. And then you can still open the doors and whatnot. Getting ready to cut the bumper up. I was gonna do this, but I decided not to. The thing is, it's gonna really get rid of our approach angle with a hitch here, even if we pull everything out. So that's why I decided not to, but I don't know. I think this outweighs it. I marked it out here, and now I'm just gonna... Now I just need to get that piece out of there. Got some blades for jigsaw.
Babe, you're dropping something.
What? I can't hear you. Jesus, these things are...
Lance! Put it over something.
I need none of those. Oh, whoops. Shoot. This is all I needed here. Oh, there was one outside?
Oh, you're using that jigsaw? Not the saw?
Yeah, this is a metal blade for it. Cool. Right when I start working on stuff, it snows again, huh?
Yeah, she's chilly.
Uh-oh. Cool. Come on out. Let's see what you think. This is the first time the camera's seen it.
Well, it's crooked.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's got a lot of slop in it.
Is it gonna make noise when we drive?
They have a thing that you can get the slop out. You ready to see it down?
I don't mind it. It's tactical.
It's far out there, that's all.
Well, yeah, I knew it was gonna be. Look at just where our bumper's at.
I'm not sure how legal that is.
People have bike racks at the front of their vehicles all the time. I mean, it's really just to get down to Vegas.
It's pretty cool though, because adding a ton of storage.
I'm happy with it. I mean, it's a hitch. It's not like you're welding that thing on permanently. No, not that.